going on, everybody? I'm your host today, JD Raider, for this very special edition of FRL. Very special because it is Monday, August 5th, episode 1051, and the Olympics are underway. We are coming to you from a new setup today, the desk setup. It's giving old studio, as the kids say.
It's giving.
It's giving old
Aura
studio.
plus 1,000.
Our aura could not be higher right now. We are at a desk set up because to our right over there in the studio, we are set up for a watch party. So we're going to have to mix things up for FRL today. Short and sweet episode for you today because only one session of the Olympics has gone down. So not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to Olympics. But I'm ready to crown Amit Elor Olympic champion.
Already?
Already.
You're just crowning her?
I mean,
you want to crown her. I would love to see it myself.
She's halfway there. Amit has won her first two matches, including, right off the bat, defeating last year's world champ at the weight.
Yes. Tosun Çavuşoğlu from Turkey. She was champ last year at 68. Amit was the champ last year at 72 kilos. She's coming down a weight. But they did wrestle at U23 Worlds a couple years ago. And Amit beat her, or pinned her in about 40 seconds. You can watch the whole match, put it on social media. I think UWW did as well, so it's not hard to find. So even though that was the number one seed, a lot of people saw when the brackets came out, Amit got drawn into against the top seed in the first round. That was really a bad draw for Turkey, by far more than it was a tough draw for Amit. When there's only 8 seeded wrestlers and 8 unseeded wrestlers, where are you going to get drawn? You're going to have somebody no matter what. And yeah, that was the top seed, but Amit was the favorite, and she showed why. Dominant performance. She won. Her toughest opponent is about to take the mat now. She's on the other side of the bracket, the number 2 seed, Ozaki of Japan. And they're a couple minutes away. It's just over 10 a.m. here Central Time. Paris, it's, the afternoon sometime.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to go check out these brackets, you can actually do so on Track Wrestling. Is where you can find these updated brackets. UWW and stuff, they put out other brackets as well, but if you want to stay as up-to-date as you can, check them out on Track Wrestling. Brackets only come out the day before the first day of competition for each weight. That's kind of a weird sentence, but so we only have the 3 weights that wrestle today. Those are the only brackets we have right now. The 3 weights that start tomorrow, those brackets will be coming out probably within the hour, maybe even before this show's over. The next day.
At other worlds, they'll go, they'll have the entire styles, draws, brackets all done. So if you don't wrestle for another couple days, you still have your bracket out there. Now it's only the day before. They are keeping it close, and it's probably good that they did for 57 kilos in men's freestyle because we had some very unfortunate news this morning.
Yeah. World champion Stevan Micic out of the Olympics. Apparently a knee injury that happened a couple weeks ago. And he said he tried, but it's not happening. He's being forced to a pull-out, and I don't know, what we don't know yet is, will that just leave a bye at the 1 seed? Will they just shift everybody up and give out a new 8 seed? Will they shift everybody up and not have a new 8 seed? Kind of unprecedented for the Olympics being seeded and this happening, so we really don't have any precedent.
Yeah, logically what should happen, and there's an Instagram post that we might be able to bring up on your screen where Stevan writes it all out there and explains the situation. Very unfortunate. I think for the bracket, what they should do is Serbia can now fill that spot with anybody they want. Now, normally Serbia, as a country, not very strong in men's freestyle, but supposedly Tuskayev, who was a former Russian athlete, recently transferred or recently became eligible. I don't know when the process may have started. But if you have a guy as good as Tuskayev is, and that's someone who was on the Russian ladder, top 5, probably top 3 guy there in Russia, that's who they should be able to slot in. Serbia qualified the weight, just like in the U.S. David Taylor qualified the weight for the U.S. at 86 kilos in men's freestyle, but it's going to be Aaron Brooks. The countries are allowed to send whoever they want. So it should be Serbia's spot. They should be able to slot in anybody. But this close to when the matches are supposed to be wrestled. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe Tuskaev's not ready to go. Maybe
it's not even in Paris.
Yeah, maybe he can't get to Paris. Maybe there's a visa. I don't know. A lot of things could happen. It is a bummer. You know, the fact that Stevan waited this long means that he was doing everything he could to wrestle. It's you know, his dream, every wrestler's dream at this level, to make it to the Olympics. So pulling out this late in the process means he gave it every opportunity and chance he could. And hopefully we'll see him, if not next year, then by the Los Angeles Olympics. Maybe he sticks around another 4 years.
Yeah, I would assume so. He's not too old yet. Here's what he had to say on his Instagram post. After much thought and prayer, it's very sad for me to say that I am unable to compete in the Paris Olympic Games. A few weeks ago, I suffered a knee injury during practice. As training for competition intensified, the injury worsened, which severely limited my ability to prepare at the highest level necessary to compete and achieve the results that I know I'm capable of. The doctors told me that if I wanted to continue wrestling, I must get reconstructive surgery. I do not have any other option than to bypass competing in the Paris Olympics, regroup, get an operation, and begin the recovery process. Now, for right or wrong, unfortunately for Stevan, the conversation is immediately going to turn to weight. Just with how it is known, how big of a cut he has, how big of a 57-kilo guy it is, I truly don't think this was a I just can't make weight thing. I think probably just inevitably having an injury that doesn't allow you to train will make it harder to make weight. But I don't think this was I don't think he's making up this story.
No. No chance that he would not be able to make weight. He would have done what it taken. He's a professional level wrestler and has made the weight multiple times. I'm sure it wasn't easy. I'm sure he had to put his body through stuff that it didn't want to go through. And, you know, that could potentially, I mean, without any knowledge, we're all speculating, could exacerbate injuries or make it tougher to recover from. No idea, but yeah, this is not a weight thing. It's just, you know, a lot of guys have tough cuts and injuries happen.
And now, if you're a gambler, we've been talking about the betting lines on this show the past couple weeks. Spencer Lee is now minus 400 favorite, at least on some books that have already updated the lines, which means if you got in on Spencer Lee plus, I think at one point he, like when they first came out, he was plus 400, plus 500.
Yeah.
Then it shifted down to where he was still positive money, but plus 150, plus 110. Now minus 400. So if you got in on him early, you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, those aren't the lines. We got to figure out where the Spencer's lines are. Those are different lines. But they're out there. You can look them up. We've been making some posts with DraftKings, ESPN Bet, FanDuel. I've heard some other ones out there. Spencer looks like a much more attractive bet now. Micic, the defending world champ, is out. There's still plenty of tough guys. Abakarov from Albania is a former Russian. He's going to be one of the toughest guys now. Higuchi for Japan, I got to think is maybe one of the toughest or top contenders now. So where you put the odds, I mean, that's tough. Where Vegas is going to set them is where they think the money's going to be. So they want to balance the lines. They don't want it's not going to be an exact representation, but meaning if they're taking a lot of money on Spencer, they're going to start moving the line so that less money goes on Spencer and more money goes on other guys. So it could be just a lot of Americans using these American sports books. But yes, 100% when one of the top contenders goes down, your odds increase.
Now, if you still think Spencer Lee is going to win gold and you want to make money off of it, guess what? You don't have to put a single dollar down. All you have to do is go to lineuplegends.com and fill out their Google form, and you can win $10,000 completely free. They did this back in March for NCAAs. That was their first event. Somebody won $10,000 just by picking the correct NCAA champions. If you go to lineuplegends.com, fill out that Google form, you pick Spencer Lee as a champion, and he wins gold. You get all the other picks correct. You win the Pick'em contest. You can win $10,000. Again, this is completely free, meaning you'd be a fool not to do this. Just go to lineuplegends.com, fill out the Google form. Super easy, super simple. I've done it. All the guys here at Flow have done it. You can even compete against us. And if you beat us, if you think you know wrestling better than us, you can win $10,000.
It's the best deal you're ever going to find when it comes to enjoying the Olympics and have a little money riding on it. It's like, think of it like the NCAA basketball tournament. You make your picks, you set it, and then you watch and enjoy, and then you see who comes out on top. I also filled out my picks. It's very simple to do, very easy form where you go through and make your picks. So, yeah, it'd be silly not to. Why not pick up a cool 10K for having the best wrestling
That's a smart investment.
That's
right
what
there.
I call a nice ROI. It's a little industry.
$0, 10,000 back.
That's infinite.
That's right.
Infinite ROI.
Now there are still, like you said, a lot of guys. I don't want Americans to think this means Spencer is going to win gold easy. Like there's still a lot of really good, tough guys in this bracket. So this doesn't mean Spencer Lee automatic gold, but it does. Obviously, when you take out a world champ, increase odds.
Yeah, and we do have the potential brackets, or the brackets with the non-seeded wrestlers are. That's a pinned Instagram post. Yeah, so you can see that, and you're gonna if that gets pulled up on the screen, it's Micic number 1. He is out now. So at the very least, Rei Higuchi is going to be the number 1 seed, and that how that's going to play out there. There we go. So scratch Micic. If Tuskayev goes in, he's not going to be ranked. I don't believe. Actually, I have to check on that. But then Higuchi goes up. The number 3 seed Haratunian is going to go to number 2, and blah blah, and so on and so forth. And then someone else ends up getting that ranking. Who exactly? I don't know.
The other American we had going today, our Greco guy at 130 kilograms, Adam Kuhn, unfortunately. 0-1 and has been eliminated. You kind of knew when the draws came out this is going to be a tough road for Kuhn, and he had Iran right off the bat, lost 3-1, and then he was eliminated by Mijan Lopez, who's trying to make history.
Yeah, everybody mentioned it when the brackets came out, or a lot of people did. It's unfortunate that you get that draw, but when you don't win. You don't earn the seed. That's what happens. Mijan is a different story. He just doesn't wrestle unless it's the Olympics. And yeah, if the guy that you lose to loses the next round, you're out. You don't get pulled into the repechage. You just get your one and done. And unfortunately, that's what happened. But Kuhn, I think he wrestled Mirzazadeh pretty tough. That's the Iranian guy. It was last year's champion. It was a 3-1 bout. One gut wrench from forced parterre that Adam Kuhn gave up, and then he wasn't able to get a turn when he got forced parterre in the second period. And then not a lot of offense, didn't get pushed out. I mean, it shows a lot of guts. It shows a lot of hard work went into that just to go toe-to-toe with a guy that credentialed of that ability. So hopefully Kuhn sticks with it, keeps training in Greco, and gets another crack at maybe Worlds.
And so Mijan's definitely winning number 5, right?
That you would assume that was his toughest competition. There's also no Rizk Kalyap. He got ruled ineligible. I think it was some PED violation or testing. I'm not sure the exact details, but he's out. Rizk Kalyap was kind of like his main rival for a long time, even though Mijan got the better of him at all the Olympics. And then last year's champ, you beat him right there. So the next top contender may be a Chilean who was originally from Cuba, Yasmani Acosta, who's on the opposite side of the bracket. He's also in the semifinals. So I think we just finished up all the first 2 rounds. And again, 16-man brackets. There's only round of 16, quarterfinals, and now in the semis. So Amit's going to wrestle for a medal because she won her first 2 bouts. And anybody that makes the semifinals will, because then you drop into the bronze medal match if you lose in the semis. So it's looking good for America at 68 kilos for the women. Unfortunately, we're not going to have a chance to get a medal at 130 kilos in Greco-Roman. And you know what else is helping Amita Lore's chances? Ozaki, which many, including myself, thought was going to be her toughest opponent, just lost to Kyrgyzstan, who got a takedown in the final seconds of their match. It was 6-6 criteria for Ozaki. Ozaki lost. I just got it up in my window here, watching on on Peacock. And that's it.
Multitasking.
That's it for Japan. So, that means Kyrgyzstan's very tough, right? That means you can't just overlook Kyrgyzstan and write a meet in for the gold. But North Korea is...
I'm doing it.
You've already crowned her. North Korea for a meet in the semis, and then it's 68. It's going to be Blessing Oberadudu, who was Tamira Mensah-Stock's opponent at the Tokyo Olympic Finals. Kyrgyzstan, her name is Zhumana Zarova.
There you go, nailed it.
Zhumana Zarova and Oberadudu, and if you can pronounce it better than me, you're probably right. And then Elor versus Pak. So all the letters are down in the lower half of the bracket, and the short names, only 7 letters total between Elor and Pak in the top side of the bracket. Just works out that way.
Scheduling note, we will be going live for the watch party for every afternoon session from here on out. Today's starts at 2 p.m. It's pushed back a little bit because there's no medal matches today, but starting tomorrow, your morning sessions are going to start at 4 a.m. Central Time with the first rounds for the new weights and repechage for the days before. And then your afternoon session with semis and medal matches will start at 11 a.m. Central Time. That 11 a.m. Session is one we will be going live for on the watch party. And then starting Thursday, for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we will be live for those morning sessions as well, because that's when men's freestyle gets started, and we still have our women going, so we will be having multiple athletes every day in the morning. So Thursday morning, you can join us at 4 a.m. Or 2 a.m. if you're West Coast time, and then in the afternoon as well every day. This is the only normal scheduled FRL we will have. However, every day, at the end of the day, we will have kind of a recap show from the boys in Paris, Tyler and CP, but that will not be live on the website. It will only go up on the podcast feed. So apologies if you're a live watcher, if you watch on YouTube or Facebook or the website or the app.
If you miss our faces, we'll be out there. You'll be able to see us in the either through social media. You'll see the guys in Paris, or at the watch party. You can get all your fix of us in person in video.
But if you want that recap, you're going to have to go listen on Apple or Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. So it's going to be a long week, but it's going to be a fun week.
Get your boil your pots of coffee, whatever you use for caffeine, or however you do your nootropic stack. You need to figure out a way to stay up and get ready to go at 4 a.m. because a lot of the most important matches, again, only 16-man brackets.
Yes.
Like, there's no
BS.
There's no, wait around. Well, it's the early rounds. I'll catch them later. There's going to be, 15 matches before the American comes up again. They're going to wrestle very quickly. It's very easy to follow because they'll do 3 weight classes in the morning session, in the early session, and there are 3 mats. So you have no excuse for not following or missing a match.
And I will say this as well. If you are an international wrestling fan, you've probably become accustomed to being able to easily watch match replays and archives either on our website or UWW's website or something. It's going to be a little bit trickier this time around with NBC. You're going to have to get Peacock, the online streaming service, and I would recommend tuning in live because they don't have a very nice, handy, arena bracket that you can just click on the match and rewatch the replays. It's going to be much simpler and easier to just watch live.
Yeah, watch live. Don't try to do replays on Peacock. And we should get a little kickback for the number of times we're going to mention Peacock.
I know.
I've fielded many questions already, and they are coming in. If you look at any comment section, how do we watch? How do we watch? How do we watch? And we always say peacocktv.com. But we don't get anything, nothing to wet our beaks on our side.
And if you're listening to this, you probably already know and are used to it, but there will still be 100 comments during the watch party. Where do I watch? Wait, you guys aren't showing the matches? Where do I watch the matches? We cannot stream the Olympics
I'm keeping
live.
a tally. I'm keeping a tally.
Yeah, it's bound to happen, but no, NBC has the rights to those matches. It is just simply a second screen viewing experience where, hey, you want a little commentary or thoughts on the action and what's going on, that's where you tune in and kind of just hang out with us as we watch the Olympics as well. But if you want to watch the matches, you got to get Peacock.
Yeah, lots of commentary, but no live commentary because we do not have
the audio rights.
Legal rights to go do that.
Right.
Do you want? But now that the matches have happened and they're in the public record, we can talk about the 3 weights that have finished up to the semis. Would you like to peruse these real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, we can pull them up. They should pop up on your screen at some point. There we are. And that is 68 kilos. Ignore the ad. They're not paying for this, but that just shows up. So this is 68 kilos. You see Allure at the top of the bracket. She beat Tosun of Turkey 10-2. That was a very impressive win. And then this is a Polish name, and I'm going to mess it up, but I think it's Hohu.
Okay.
Something like that. There's
not your typical Polish name.
No, and that's Victoria something. And taking on Zhao of China. I thought China would have been one of the better contenders here. She is a 2-time world medalist, but that was in the past. In 2018 was her last world medal. And then Victoria from Poland, a little bit younger. She's a U23 world medalist. But Elor's beat her twice before, and now Elor has now beaten her at least 3 times. She's into the semis. Her opponent, North Korea, beat Ringachi from Moldova, who is a former world champ. I think in 22 she won a world championship. And then she had a tough match, North Korea did, with India, won 10-8. India was winning for most of it, Nisha of India. So I think I got Elor by, 5 or 6 points. I would set the point line there. And then on the bottom side, Kumbula Rock, she was the French favorite. She beat New Zealand, but then ran into Blessing Oberedudu. Oberedudu's looking good. She's won both of her matches by 4 or 6 points. And then the big upset, Japan gets a 10-0 tech fall over Venezuela, but then runs into Kyrgyzstan, who got up 6-0. Ozaki came back and had it 6-6 tied, was winning by criteria. And then in the final 10 seconds, it was Zhumana Zarova with the clutch takedown, and that ends Japan's hopes of going 6 for 6. They had a world champ at every single weight class. Ozaki, though, won her world championship at 62 and then 65, so she was coming up. Maybe didn't have the horsepower. I don't know.
Yeah. Japan, dominant in women's wrestling, but the world's catching up. They're not going to go 6 for 6 anymore. They're probably going to win the share of them, but
yeah, their best weights are probably their first 3. Their 76 kilo took gold at last Worlds, but that weight is wide open, and Kennedy Blades can certainly be considered a gold medal contender there. And then 62, we'll see what happens. There's Tiny Bukova, another Kyrgyzstan wrestler. So Kyrgyzstan really showing out.
Kyrgyzstan, I can't imagine they have too many Olympic medals across the board. So
yeah, I can't think of any other sport where Kyrgyzstan would be considered a national power or a world power.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kyrgyzstan, they got a contender at 60 kilos, which we can briefly talk about because I don't really know too much about 60 kilo Greco-Roman.
No U.S. rep at this weight.
That's right. And then we got to scroll a bit. This is actually a bigger weight class because they have 2 refugee wrestlers, and one of them was in this weight class, Valazade, but he lost in the first round. And it is Japan and which Korea is it? North Korea and China in the lower half of the bracket.
Please, the Democratic Republic of North Korea.
Please, the People's Democratic
Republic
of Korea. Yeah, North Korea and South Korea don't consider themselves North or South. They just consider themselves Korea, and it's a whole geopolitical thing. But thank you for correcting. And then on the top side, this is Sharshin Bekov of Kyrgyzstan. That's the guy I alluded to. And Fumita, I believe he is a world champ from Japan. Now, even if you don't know a lot about Greco-Roman, the 60 kilos, they're kind of fun.
They are. That's probably the deepest Greco bracket and also the most fun to watch as well because, Greco, we knock on it sometimes. It can be a kind of a push-out game, a gut-wrench game, but Those guys are worth tuning into.
Yeah, the heavyweight, it's funny. I got the 60 kilo guys, which is what, 129, 130 pounds or something?
About.
And then the heavyweights, which is 130 kilos, which is like 285, 290, 290 pounds. So the two opposite ends of the spectrum. Heavyweight, you see a lot of forced parterre. One gut wrench will win it, like it happened with Kuhn and Rezazadeh. And I think the same thing happened with Mihan Lopez and Mirzazadeh. And now you have the 60 kilo guy. And they're doing some flying squirrels. They're jumping around. They're doing a lot more lifts, a lot more throws.
I saw Mihan walks around at 150 kilos, maybe even more.
A smooth 150 kilo.
That means he had to cut like 40 pounds.
This man had to work. Well, I heard when they did some weight changes after the 2013 Worlds, and then we were out of the Olympics and then back in the Olympics, and they kind of shuffled some weights around. One of the reasons Greco is 130 and freestyle was 120 and then 120 is they were like, yo, Mihan needs those kilos.
Yeah.
Mihan is
he
not
needs every kilo he can get.
He's not making 120. 130, okay. He can make it. But he's a big man.
So that's what happened today. That's what we've got on tap for this week. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have 3 athletes going because we've got Sarah Hildebrandt going women's freestyle, and then Kamal Bey and Joe Rao going for Greco. Like I said, those brackets should be out probably within the hour, and you can keep it locked on FloWrestling to see those brackets, Track Wrestling to see the brackets. UWW Arena has a match bout board, so if you go to arena.uww.org and then click live stream, then Olympic Games, or Olympic Games, then live stream.
You got it second time, both times, nailed it.
Yep, nailed it. You can see the bout order, so pull that up, pull up Peacock to watch, and then pull us up on the watch party, www.flowwrestling.org, kind of for our thoughts and commentary on the matches.
Yeah, pull up, come through, party with your pals.
That's right.
Let's watch some Olympic wrestling, baby.
Go to Lineup Legends, fill out your Lineup Legends lineup before they close tomorrow. Got to get that in. I know the Olympics have already started, but you can still do it. They purposely didn't select any of these first day one weights, so that you can still do it, so you can potentially win $10,000. See you at the watch party.